Hello everybody, Mr. Pilgrim here, coming at you with a different kind of video. This one's going to be a more serious topic than normal, and that's going to be regarding battle passes and how I feel about them and my experiences with them and stuff so far. And that is more or less going to be in a negative sense, as I feel like battle passes are very annoying and just not really all that great, really. Yes, what they offer is sometimes okay and great, but at the same time, I feel like they just aren't. Like, yes, you get skins and other things that are unique to the specific battle pass, but I also feel like that there's a lot of things that the game companies can do in regards to making the battle passes a little bit more accessible and easier for everybody. I'm not saying take away the grind fully, but I'm just saying make it more easier for everybody to equally get everything. As in people who work jobs and get very little time to actually be able to play all these games that they want to play that all have their own battle passes. It's very unfair and not very forgiving to those kind of people. And then you've got people who say, well, why not just play that game all the time? And it's just like, well, if you work a 8 to 9 hour shift and then you have to come home, eat, bathe, and do other stuff, you've got literally no time before you already have to go to bed. As somebody who used to do that, it is very unfair when you have 4 or 5 games that you like to play that all have battle passes that you were equally trying to get those things for. So one thing I think game companies could easily do is remove a lot of the stuff from their battle passes that are not worth even getting. Like they're just filler in tiers. Like exactly right here, the battle points, worshiper boosters, you really don't need those. Like, yes, having specific things that are battle pass related, those are perfectly fine. But when you have just a tier that is simply just a viewer point and a booster, and then like currency and then another booster, it's really not that great. Like, you could easily take out those 2 tiers. And then the main problem that I really have is with Smite, as it's the worst one in terms of battle passes and how much time you have to spend playing this game. And that is simply because when you have a 120 level battle pass, it feels almost impossible to be able to play other games. Like, you are forced to have to play Smite. Otherwise, the only other way to do it is if you buy tiers and spend way more money than what you're trying to do. And that's really not cool to gamers and people who just want to have the things that are from a battle pass. Now, as you'll see, once you reach tier 60, you'll get, one skin, and then you'll realize, oh wait, there's 6 more levels to go through. And if you look at most of these, they are all filler. You'll have like 1 item or 2 per actual, 10 levels, and I really don't think that they're all that worth it. Like, this avatar isn't that great. Like, yeah, the loading screen's fine, but then you have another avatar, that one's not too bad. Then you have one of the 2 extra skins that they've added. Then you have another 2 layers of just crap, really. And then, like, I imagine that these levels right here and then these last couple of levels are going to be ridiculously hard to grind, as it's going to be way too much XP, Like, even with a battle pass booster that's supposed to give you more XP than normal, it's still not enough. Like, yeah, it says 53 days and I'm already at level 40, but that's simply because on PlayStation they gave us a booster that basically started us at level 13. But this is just one battle pass I'm going to be talking about, because like I said, most of these things are easily just stuff that they could trim down and make it way easier for people who don't have all the free time. And that's just, my thoughts on Smite, as it's the worst offender of battle passes. And I'll see you all in the next game. Alright, now the second game I'd like to talk about is Cold War, and specifically its battle pass, and how they recently just did something very, very dirty in terms of a game company doing something, as they added a new unique skin to force you to have to pay extra money just to get it. Instead of making it as something as part of a battle pass, they instead are forcing you to have to to pay extra money for it, and it is for the new operator that they just released. And I think it's really stupid, because why force people to have to pay extra money for a new skin that you can't even see now? Like, if you don't buy the thing and you just buy the normal battle pass, the skin just disappears. You can't even look at it, you can't even find it. It's just gone, and it's really stupid that they would do that, because all it is trying to force people to spend more money. I think that's pretty dirty. You know, then again, this is a Activision-esque Treyarch game, so them doing their fans dirty has always been a thing, at least from my point of view. Now, once again, like most of the battle passes, there's a lot of things that they could easily cut from this battle pass, like the boosters. I don't really care for vehicle skins. I like emblems. There's some operator skins I don't care for. I do not like the stickers at all. I think you could easily remove those and save people so much time. Reticles are almost the same as stickers. I really don't care for them. I really don't even use unique reticles when I play the game. The gestures are fine, as there's only been like 2 that they've released. You know, I do like the weapon blueprints or skins that they say. Finishing moves are fine. Like I said, you know, and then every single season we get 2 free weapons that they'll eventually add to where if you didn't play for this season, then you can get it. I think that's pretty cool of them to do. But then when you look at other stuff that they do, you're just like, why didn't you think about that for every situation? Now, Call of Duty's is a little bit different from Smite's Battle Pass, as you were actually able to play solo and not have to do anything online. Like, you do not have to play the game with other people to work on the battle pass. I've already uploaded a video for Call of Duty Cold War that's pretty helpful on getting XP, leveling up, and stuff like that for the battle pass, so it's really not that bad. But just, I feel like out of the 100 tiers, they could easily trim it down and make it a whole lot easier for everybody. Because like I said, I don't care for vehicle skins. I don't really use that. I don't want the XP tokens, and I don't care for reticles. You know, you could easily take that away. Now, calling cards, I think they're kind of neutral with me, as they're just that. I don't really hate them. I don't really want them, you know. But yeah, so Call of Duty's is kind of more or less I'd say a 7 out of 10 on the offender scale for battle passes, and how much they just shovel out some shit. Really is, I'm just gonna say it. They shovel out a bunch of shit, and then they want you to just pay for all this shit that you don't want just to get the things that you do want. You know, like, I don't care for most of these items that are in the battle pass, as I'm not gonna really use any of them. Like, really, maybe a couple of weapon blueprints I'll use, but there's a few operator skins that I'm not gonna touch ever, just because they're shit, and I don't like them. I'm always probably going to end up using the Ultra blueprints and stuff like that, and the Tier 100, some of the Tier 100 items. Like, you know, that's stuff I'm going to use. Like, I'll use the microchip, I'll use the Samurai Operator skins, definitely. And I'll also use the Geomatic, 100% guaranteed. But other stuff, no, I'm not going to touch ever, and it's just a waste of my time to have to get it. You know, and I also think that these companies could easily save themselves time, money, and resources by not having these shitty tiers. Like, some of these war tracks are just The watch is you know, easily could have been cut out. If I'm sounding more negative than positive, it's just because this is something that's been going on since, like, Fortnite really blew up and introduced battle passes, because then every single company started doing it. And when people don't realize how annoying it is to have to play one game, only play one game to get items from a battle pass, because they make it to where they limit your XP that you get, or you have to spend more time playing their game just to get enough XP for one level, you know, and it's something that you don't even want. Like, really, it's just really stupid, you know. And then another thing that I think is that if you pay for the battle pass, you should automatically get everything in the battle pass at the end of the season, regardless if you grinded for it or not, as you're paying for these items. You know, you bought the currency and you're buying it. You know, that should be more than enough to just give you the items. But no, most companies just don't care, and they want you to have to then play their game, especially if it's something to where you already have to pay for the game, and then they want you to pay even more money. That's just how greedy these companies are, and I feel like it's not cool to the gamers. But we're going to be moving on to the final two games to talk about. These two are more or less aren't as bad as like Call of Duty and Smite are in terms of how much they try and just take money from you, but they still have their ins and outs, you know, so I'll see you all on those. Alright, so the third game we're going to be talking about is, of course, Fortnite. Now, Fortnite is basically the main company that reintroduced how companies will sell things to people and added the Battle Pass. Now, I really don't have a problem with how Fortnite's Battle Pass is. I do have problems with some of the things that they have in the Battle Pass, like most of them, that they don't need. Like, I really don't use sprays at all, ever. I rarely change my banner icon, but I think those are perfectly fine, as they can be uniquely added to your layout of the thing. I don't like the emoticons at all. Those are like the main two I just don't care for, is just the sprays and the emoticons. Everything else can be used and more customized, especially with my series that I do, where I get a win with every skin. So that's really the only two things I feel like they could easily remove from Fortnite. But then here comes the biggest problem that they've recently done, is that with the introduction of Chapter 2 for Fortnite, they've added it to where they are trying to force people to play their game more often just to get unique extra things. So what I mean by this is bonus rewards that are more or less just style changes for a skin that you already own. Once again, I feel like if you buy the Battle Pass, you should already get all 100 tiers and shouldn't have to grind. Now, I feel like to remedy that situation, they could easily have challenges that give you these styles that you can do throughout the season. You don't have to do them if you don't want to, but if you want the styles, then you could easily earn them. You know, like you could just buy the Battle Pass, get all 100 items, and then just wait till the end of the season and then come and just do all the challenges, you know? That way you're not pressured to do anything. But the first two pages of the bonus rewards are actually skins and styles that are perfectly fine and I think are really cool. You know, you've got Toxic Rick, you know, you get different stuff. However, once you get past that, then it starts to become apparent that the grind is a little more annoying, as they basically want you to have to get these unique styles that are golden, prismatic, and silver every season, and they've done this for like the last 3 or 4 seasons. And honestly, once again, I feel like these are just things that they could have as challenges, not be to grind for them, you know? And then you also have the challenges that require you to do specific things, like to get a skin that used to be hidden until it was released. You know, now they just don't care about subtlety and surprise. It's just, hey, here's the secret skin, wait like 60 days, and then here's the challenges to do it. You know, or they have stuff like this to where you could customize the skin, but the downside is you have to play the game and find specific things that, you know, are just kind of like, I do like the customizability for this skin, but when you have a lot of things about it that require way too much time, especially if you're a solo player like myself, I feel like you getting most of the things for this are going to be ridiculous, as there's a chest you can find in your games that require you to be in a duo or squads game, which is a little bit annoying, as I feel like that's just stupid. Like, what about solo players, you know? Really? But once again, I feel like that these companies easily have enough money and time that they could invest to make it way easier for people to earn these rewards and stuff, you know? Really. But like I said, you know, Fortnite isn't as bad as Smite or Call of Duty in terms of how much they try and force you to just spend money instead of just playing the game. Especially on Smite's part, because it's just ridiculous. But and the last game we have to talk about is more or less something that isn't as bad as these other three, and this latest season I'll explain a little more once we get into the game. Alright, and here we are on the fourth game, and that is for Rocket League. Now, recently, I've been trying to play the new Battle Pass that just came out, and for the most part, Rocket League does have a pretty straightforward Battle Pass. It doesn't take too long if you're actually completing challenges to get levels, but the downside is more or less just the fact that there's a bunch of stuff in each Battle Pass for every game that's just filler. Like I said, they could easily get rid of some of these. Like, I'm never going to use this campfire topper. I'm not ever going to use the dead horse topper. There's specific decals that are fine, but I'm just never going to use them. One thing I think that they could easily do is have it to where if you buy the Battle Pass, you get all of the tiers that are base. So what that means is for this season, you'd get all 70 tiers instead of 100 like last season, which stops here at the Outlaw. And then for all of the items they've added that they could add like colors to, like the wheels, the gold explosions, other wheels and stuff like that. What they could do is you buy it, you get to 70 automatically, and then if you want to grind for the additional color styles for it, then you can. If you don't, then you already get what you paid for. And with Rocket League, if you go past the max level that they first show, then you could easily earn the money back. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. Now I'll show off what I mean by getting the different color styles. As we come down here, all right, you see, here's the original wheels, the traction, and then they have these hatch versions, which are kind of like Borderlands styled, and then they give them different colors. Like in the Battle Pass, you could easily get the normal traction hatch versions, by the time you get to max level, and then if you want to grind the additional levels, you can then get all the color styles. As you can see, I didn't get all the color styles, as by the time I got the Battle Pass, it was already almost halfway through, so I missed out on a bunch of XP and would have had to grind way more than normal, which I'm not going to do. But same here with these. Not even going to try and pronounce that name of the wheel. But these have their own different specific colors, as you can see here. And my favorite wheels from last season were the inverted versions. As you can see, have this coolish, unique texture to them with different colors and stuff like that. I got a decent amount of them, but I didn't get all the ones, as there was two I missed out on simply just because the XP. As that is the main thing I feel like with most of these games is they say that you get more XP just for owning the Battle Pass, but then you start playing the games and it's really only you get like an extra 500 XP, but then you need like 50,000 XP a level or so. And I really don't feel like that's all that great, It's really not. Or they force you to have to do the challenges to mainly get XP. Like, yeah, you can play the game, but for one challenge that you get to do that gives you 15,000 XP, you would have to play almost like 10 to 15 games if you're always losing. Maybe 10 games minimum if you're winning. Just because you only get like a little less than 2,000 XP every win, and even if you're playing with like a friend, it's still not a lot. Like last season, you got way more XP just for playing with a friend, and you could even lose, and it'd still be fine. But you still had to play this game way more than normal just to even get through most of the different styles and color changes that they added, as most of them are colors I don't really use, but they're perfectly fine. Once again, Rocket League is on the lower end of the list, as I feel like they aren't as bad, but there's small improvements that they could easily make to make it easier. And there's actually one last game I'd like to talk about, but this is only going to be a pure positive review and experience because it is so easy, and it's why I love that game company. So I'll see you there. Alright, and the last game I'd like to talk about is Dauntless. Dauntless has been a free-to-play game since it's come out. Now, they didn't really become all console until they'd already been out for a bit, and there was a couple of items that were hunt pass related that you couldn't get anymore. As well as back in the day, you didn't get all of the money that you spent back. Which back then I didn't have a problem with because Dauntless has always been an easier to play game, and it's been really easy to grind out their hunt pass. Now, originally their hunt pass had items that were way more worth getting the hunt pass for, as they had emotes, weapon skins, armor skins, hunt arrivals, stuff like that. And then they gave you your platinum. They only gave like 200 less or so than what the price was that you were spending. So basically, you'd have to buy 2 hunt passes, but then the platinum that you got back would allow you to buy the third one for free, basically, which really wasn't that bad if you just didn't spend your platinum. And for the most part, all of the hunt passes and their themes have been really good. There's been a couple that I didn't participate in as I just got a little bored of Dauntless, so I went away. But then I came back and I haven't left since then, For the most part, their hunt pass is incredibly easy to grind through. It will take you less than like half a day if you're going smart about it. And then they added this new thing called the reward cache, to where you could keep grinding and get other stuff. Now, the hunt pass now doesn't have weapon skins, but instead the reward cache does. So for every level after level 50 of the hunt pass, you'll get 25 tokens, which isn't a lot, but when you can easily grind through these levels, it's really not that hard. And then if you want to, you can then also buy previous hunt pass items, which is genius, as, all you have to do is keep playing the game, and then say you missed this hunt pass, well, you easily can get all these items that you missed out on. You just have to play the game, come back to it. And as you'll see, I own everything, of course, because I was playing for that hunt pass. But with Dauntless, they have it to where you can gain XP just for fighting behemoths, and then doing specific bounties, which give you XP based on how tough the challenge is. For a gold bounty, that is a single level because it's 100 XP for one level. But as well as that, there are specific challenges that give you way more coins for the reward cache that you can specifically do, on top of that. But Dauntless is just honestly the base of which I think companies should base their hunt passes or battle passes on, is making them easy to do. There's no stress involved. You don't have to worry about, not getting the items. Really. You can easily dedicate a couple days out of the time that you're given for Dauntless, and you could get all the items. Because there's a system with how it works and how they mitigate XP. And it is really easy. Because what they do is they go based on your weapons level. So with the new system, you could reset your weapons level and kind of prestige it. So then you could take the same weapon and loadout that you have that's really good and fight tougher monsters that literally aren't going to be a problem to you to fight because you know how to fight them. It's easy. And because you're doing that, you can then gain more XP for doing the same stuff you've already been doing with no downsides. So then, instead of taking you an hour or more to get a single level, you then triple the XP that you're getting by simply just knowing how to play through the game better. That's all it is. So instead of taking a hunt pass or battle pass that'll take you weeks to complete, it literally only takes you a couple days. Now, I am the rule to the exception, as I have free time to be able to do these kind of things and experiment with this kind of XP gain. Now, note, you can't do this for every game that has a battle pass, because most companies just want to say, fuck you, pay us more money just to have these things that you should already be given, because you've paid for them already. No, they would just want more money out of you. Dauntless is the one game company that they don't. Like, literally, they're one game company I actually would want to give money to, simply just because, their game is that good to me. Like, it's been fun. Yeah, the grind hasn't always been that great, but it's never been unbearable. They even added it to where most of the styles and stuff for things I feel like are, yeah, they're a little expensive, but this is a free to play game. So they got to make money somehow to keep the game going and add more things. That's perfectly fine. They even have added previous reward cash items to the shop for you to be able to buy, of course, in case you weren't there to play it, which they're not that expensive, as it's roughly only $7. But when you could have easily have been there, easily grinded it out for these items, then it does seem like a loss. That's just a fact, which is fully understandable why that might be a little bit annoying. But this is a pretty easy game to get in, I feel like, for the most part. And that's really all I wanted to talk about in terms of battle passes, as I just feel like game companies should actually be catering towards the people who play their games, instead of trying to just have it to where they just want more money out of you, really. Because what's the point in having a battle pass that people have to buy and then spend a ridiculous amount of time to grind out for, Because not everybody has the time to do that, really, and it sucks, you know. But it's just my thoughts, If you agree with me, disagree with me, I'd love to talk about this, or in the comment section at least, and hear what you guys think, whether you agree with how companies are treating you and trying to just get more money out of you, or if you feel like the grind is okay, but it could be better. These are all topics that I'd like to discuss. Not trying to pick any fights with anybody, but these are just 5 examples that I have of game companies and how they handle battle passes and their differences and similarities, of course. But this has been Mr. Pilgrim, and I will see you all in the next one.